Great. Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful, drizzly Wednesday, September 24th, year of our Lord 2025. My Cordaro Jeweler's watch tells me it's 9:18 and change. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. Broadcasting today from the United States of America. I know it because my president went to the United Nations and told them how it be. It's also the place where the brave, like the veterans we are going to celebrate today, like Gene Tallarico. We lost them, but celebrate them thanks to John Basiliga and his great family of companies. The United States of America, founded with certain knowledge and understanding by our incredible, irreplaceable, amazing founding fathers. That government is not, shall not be, cannot be our parent, our guide, our salvation, our direction. Not any of these things, but is nothing more than a necessary evil we require to organize and protect society. The United States of America, the country where, for the first time in human history, freedom was declared to be an unalienable right granted to each individual by God. It was not something that could be parceled out to groups. Freedom could not be controlled by government or government officials because our great American Constitution ensures and codifies freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of association, economic freedom, and freedom of the press. Well, how they use it, we sort of know that deal, don't we? They misuse it, but we know better. Now, armed with these freedoms, and only because they have them, a ragtag bunch of immigrants, rejects, and their progeny created the richest, most powerful, most culturally diverse and accepting nation ever to grace our planet Earth. America, the only place specifically invented and designed so that every American can live their life in the manner they choose, unlimited by their background, upbringing, race, color, or creed, unhindered by the government or those who would use government to control others for their own comfort, benefit, or power. Yeah. This Bob Cordaro Show, it's always going to be convincingly conservative, lovingly logical, proudly and passionately patriotic, and reliably right. And yes, we mean both of those. Our commitment to common sense will indeed provide you a sanctuary of sanity in a mad world. And so we gavel to order this meeting of the Club for Common Sense. Trump was awesome. It was incredible. I'm telling you, I say this, he's my favorite comedian, but he's so much more than that. I mean, telling the left-wing lunatics in the audience right in front of him, those who have their entire power based upon the fake climate change. Their entire power based upon government power. The growth in their power and their money. All the NGOs and all this, they have it all tied up in illegal and mass migration. And he just, man, it was great. It was powerful. It was unassailable. That was really something. So congratulations, Donald Trump. This may have, well, it was just as good as the last time. You know, remember the first speech he gave to the UN? Where he said that the use of socialism in these countries, these disastrous countries, was not because they didn't have enough socialism. You know, it doesn't work. And he's telling them what you're doing does not work. It fails the people you're supposed to represent. So great job by Trump. And for you guys, well, obvious I did it because I had to also. I had to stay up late last night, and I had to watch Jimmy Kimmel. I was like, and I don't like to stay up that late. And to watch Jimmy Kimmel, I mean, it was painful. But I said, you know what? It's my job. I have to do it. There's nothing I can do about it. And I watched Jimmy Kimmel try to turn around a situation where he was benched for lying. He was benched for hatred. And he tried to make it him against Donald Trump. He, the beacon of free speech. Well, you don't give it for free. You get paid $16 million a year. He was suspended for lies, and he lied on why it happened. The $16 million a year freedom fighter. Now, I've got to say, Donald Trump commenting on the issue, but even sort of worse, Brendan Carr commenting on the issue, allowed them a little bit of a hook to lie and to continue to lie as to why he got taken off. Now, I will say this. I don't know. A lot of people disagreed with me, and Trump disagrees with me. I think he's funny. Let me say this. He can be funny. He's whip smart and witty, Jimmy Kimmel. But his hatred has blocked any opportunity for him to be funny. You can't have humor. And the people in the audience, they might as well have brought in trained SEALs to clap. That's basically what they had. Now, he's a mental patient, Jimmy Kimmel. He is. I mean, he almost broke down, and appropriately in some, well, not really, but not appropriately for a prepared monologue. But he got emotional a couple times, which I thought was fine. I don't think he answered any questions because, remember, what does the left-winger have to do? They have to lie, and they have to be hypocrites. They are divorced from fact, truth, and reality. They have zero self-awareness. So he didn't address, as though he did nothing wrong with the lies he told about Charlie Kirk, his followers, and MAGA. And so, he just didn't get it done. He probably got done enough. The key decisions on him is going to be whether Sinclair, we talked about this yesterday, we were the first to talk about it, whether Sinclair and Nexstar, who control about 70 ABC stations, affiliates, do they bring him back on? We'll be following that. That's the key. If he can't come back on with them, they've got to get rid of him again. And I also mentioned yesterday, it is my understanding his contract, Jimmy Kimmel's contract's up at the end of the year or thereabouts. So if Nexstar and Sinclair, well, let's see what they do. He gave it was not an apology, but he gave a tearful reference to the Kirk family. Nothing, really, when you think about it, nothing to Charlie Kirk if you watched it. It was not what I was hoping for. But again, when you're a left-wing lunatic, it means never having to say you're sorry. That's what he is. All right, we're way over, but I wanted to play her again. The clip went longer. I wanted to finish at the forgiveness, but the clip was longer. I want to play that occasionally, Erica Kirk, because it is so important. Now, does she truly forgive him? I actually believe so. The killer, the scum, the piece of spit who took her husband's life, who took away the father of her children. Crazy stuff. All right, we'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, and then we'll be back. We've got a Veterans Tribute. We've got the weather. We've got much more. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour. This day and every day brought to you by our man and a true patriot, John Basiliga. Just one of his great companies, Basiliga Hospitality. It includes 3 bar restaurants. You could go anywhere from fries with gravy to a great steak. The Old Brook Inn, Springbrook Township, Far Street Tavern, the Great Trips Park section of West Scranton, the Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. Then there's fine dining. A Terra 519, understated Manhattan, fabulous. There last Saturday night, outstanding. The Stegmeyer Mansion, be transported to another era, another time, another place, with an incredible dinner at the Stegmeyer Mansion. Eugene Tallarico. We lost him May 10th, 2024. I've saved his obit since then. He was 94 years old. He was preceded in death by his beloved wife of 54 years, the former Helene Solinsky. Born in 1930. Eugene, well, he was the son of the late Samuel and Ida Tallarico, graduate of Old Forge High School. And he began a family legacy at the University of Scranton. Not a simple thing to get a college degree back then. He got a Bachelor of Science in Sociology in 1951. He then got a master's in 1963. He proudly served alongside his brother George in the United States Army during the Korean War. A lifelong believer in the importance of education. Proud member of the Scranton Federation of Teachers. 35-year educator at West Scranton High School. He was Mr. Tallarico. He worked for the Advocacy Alliance after that, leased dry cleaners on his sister's business until he was 93. Very proud of his son, Attorney Eugene Tallarico, one of our great district attorneys. His granddaughter and many, many other family members. I knew him well, solid, strong, faithful, always there, Gene Tallarico. And speaking of that, Gene Tallarico Jr. on the line. Gene, how are you? It's great to commemorate your dad. Just a solid, solid guy.
You are so right, Bob. I can't thank you enough for doing this. It's a year and a half since he's gone, and we certainly understand the loss from him and the incredible work that he's left, especially now as we are approaching the daughter of my daughter's wedding, Catherine. That's going to be in October. So it's a magical moment for all of us.
Yeah. Dr. Catherine Tallarico, I might add.
You are correct.
We would just see him at all these different varying events. I don't know. The word that always came to mind was solid. He was just like a rock. I really felt that way about him.
Absolutely. No question about it. And that was instilled in me from being a little boy and growing up to be a man, understanding the solidity of who he was and what he stood for, both for himself, his family, and those around him. Very instrumental in terms of understanding what life should look like.
You know, you've been through the political wars, the campaign wars. He was always there in the background. He always stood beside you. Win, lose, draw, he was there for you and all of the family.
Amen. Amen. And one of the most significant things I can certainly relate to you and to the folks listening is the immense pride that he had for our daughter, his granddaughter, Dr. Catherine Tallarico. Having had the opportunity to meet and understand the heart of her fiance, Jake, incredible moments, really incredible. I mean, it's a shame that he can't be here, but we know his spirit is with both of them.
Amen. Amen. I thank you for calling and participate in this, and because I saved this since last year when he passed May 10th last year, because I said I've got to have Gene on to talk about his dad, and I've got to talk about him as well. Teacher for 35 years. He just, I mean, again, everything he did was built to last, wasn't it? From his career to family, everything.
It sure was. It sure was. It's a testament to the belief system that we have in our family. What I was lucky enough to have passed along to me, the work ethic, which is really insurmountable when you look and understand the time that he was raised. Born in 1930. It was a tough time, and he worked very hard and provided very well for all of us, for generations to come.
Yeah, amazing stuff. Thank you, Gene, for coming on. Eugene Tallarico Sr., our tribute today to him wouldn't have been the same without you. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Bob.
All right.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Great stuff. Again, I love it when it's somebody I knew and you didn't know they served in the military. Gene Tallarico Sr. Storm Tracker 16 forecast. Meteorologist Joe Snedeker tells us today cloudy and muggy. Chance of late day showers and thunderstorms, 75. Tonight, cloudy skies, 62. Thursday, cloudy with showers and thunderstorms, 75 degrees. Friday, morning sun, then increasing clouds in the afternoon with a chance of a shower. So we needed the rain. You know that. I mean, when I go up to Lake Scranton, I truly notice it. We had really filled up that reservoir, and now it's back low again. And I don't know. I don't like seeing that. I had the nuns in grade school, and they, always about famine and drought and all that. And, it gets me, just slightly nervous. It truly does. Hey, I'm not, I'm not avoiding it. There's, it's just a matter of, I'm going to talk about it when we get back. At some point, we'll get to it. But our demented friend Chris Kelly, he's got his Wednesday column. And first of all, just a quick commentary on it. I always say this about people, particularly the left. And he's a left-wing lunatic. We have prayed for help for him, that he gets the assistance he needs for his Trump derangement syndrome and other maladies. And I continue to pray for it. But you know that somebody doesn't have an argument, it's with regard to this show, when they just use, he's a felon, he's a criminal, he's corrupt. That's all he's got. That's all he's got. He's invited. I'll repeat it again. Chris Kelly, you were invited on this show. Anytime you want to call in, you're invited. You're welcome. 570-883-0098. I doubt you have the courage to do it. I doubt you have the convictions to do it. But we hold out hope for you anyway. You were invited on the show. It's like dealing with a spoiled child. He was either in the studio or he wasn't coming. Wait a minute. I said, well, then let me write your column for a week if that's how you want to work it. It's sort of my show. We do things a certain way, and you don't raise to the level. You just don't. You're not even close to the level to deserve to be in this studio. You just don't. I mean, first of all, because of who you are and the idiocy of your ideas, okay, and the things you cite. But the second part is we serve a number of counties. We have a really big audience. you have a very tiny audience because even the people who are buying the paper are buying it for the obituaries, not your column, just so you know. So you reach a couple of counties with the newspaper. We reach at least 13. I can't be wasting the vast majority of the audience's time on something that they will never read. So I'm sorry, Chris. You're not that important. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Elvis. Murph says this date, 1957, he released his hit Jailhouse Rock, RCA Victor Records. And before that, a little dry. Why do they always have these British guys doing it? But 1789, the Judiciary Act established America's federal court system and created the post of Attorney General. Bob Cordaro back with you on WILK. So I was directed to the newspaper two other things, sort of more important. Not sort of, more important. Last night, I met my grandson, my new grandson, MJ. Got to hold him for quite a while, actually. He didn't really get up while I was holding him, but, that's what babies do. But a great night. Oh, gosh. And then my granddaughters were there, obviously. His two older sisters. So it was just, what a beautiful night. And that's what I said. When people, Chris Kelly posted this thing on Facebook because nobody reads the newspaper. Nobody reads the rag. And when they do, they bypass his column anyway. So he put it on Facebook to try to get some kind of reach with it. And, but I'm like, gosh, I'm going to deal with this silliness. I have a grandchild in my, really. And so I go to the newspaper today. My friend Michael Corleone tells me, hey, Kelly killed you in the paper today. Yeah, okay. But I look in the front page. Now, there was a project that has been going on for a long time. And the borough of Archibald is creating a Veterans Monument Park. They've been working on this forever, volunteers, all this. And so even in the rag, we could find something important because they received an anti-aircraft, mobile equipment unit. And they have a tank as well. I think it's going to be fabulous. And there was this retired Army Major, Clyde Brown, who's the treasurer of the park committee. And his grandfather designed part of this, the latching mechanism. Isn't that incredible? Oh, what great veterans we have around here. They're just off the charts great. But this, that was good news. Now, another thing that struck me, so that's number 2. Number 3, grandchild being the only important thing. But number 3, I in the morning, we got this deal. We got this routine. The cat comes and he meows, and that's time to get up. He's the butler. He doesn't come on the bed anymore because Chauncey will chase him, and we'll go through that whole routine. So we go do that, and I've been noticing this, pretty much every day, but I never said anything about it. The water smells. I fill his water bowl, and the water smells. And I guess this is how I can complain the most effectively. But PA American Water, you're crushing us with bills, like $200 plus every month. And that's the water you give me? And you don't notice it when you use smaller amounts, like for coffee or tea or whatever, or if you're washing your hands. But when I put it in Chauncey's bowl, I'm telling you, that smell, I'm over the sink filling it up, and that smell just hits me. Really, really crazy. And it's wrong. And we just endured an entire summer of construction by PA American Water. And yet the water, it stinks. It literally stinks. And I'm thinking, I'm giving this to Chauncey? Well, again, one of my disappointments, they're doing better than anybody by a mile with RFK and Trump on their latest announcement regarding autism. Don't lose focus on all of the sources. And one of them could be our drinking water. as part of chronic illness. I'm telling you, when you fill up this, Chauncey's big. He's 110 pounds at least by now. And when I fill that bowl up in the morning, it's like, woof, I got to actually hold my head back, and I feel bad to give it to the dog. So PA American Water, get your head in the game. Something's wrong with this water. If it smells that bad, could it be drinkable? Cabinet guy says, sounds like you need the Bowman. Yeah, I think I do. I need the HL Bowman. That's the Bulldogs' favorite people. All right. Well, on that note, we take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK, Brian Hughes with the news, and then we will come back and resume this morning's meeting of the Club for Common Sense. Great good morning, everyone. My Ricardo Jewelers watch tells me it's 10:10 and change here in the great Northeast. This beautiful Wednesday, September 24, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he. And it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man, John Basiliga, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order after that brief news adjournment, our meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all in a really insane world. Hey, a buddy of mine texted in. He said 3 things I got from the Chris Kelly article. Number 1, I didn't know he had alcohol issues. That explains his negativity. Number 2, something about an old sweater that itches him or something. Maybe a nice sweater from Boscov's would be a good gift for Christmas. 3, WILK doesn't have reporters. I know. Well, ask Mark Nasco. Ask Billy, our guy. Just ask Mr. Paul Michaels in the afternoon. Ask them. And by the way, although there's a left-wing tilt in the morning, at least the news is presented. And by the way, I don't disparage the reporters at the Scranton Times. They get an assignment, they write it, and generally do a good job. The question is, what does the people like lunatics like Chris Kelly, what do they choose to do? And when you look at a column like he wrote about Charlie Kirk, is there an adult down there that's not mentally ill? Because when you have a mental patient writing columns for you, you have to say, all right, he went a little too far this time. And I mean, I could care. Look, he demonstrated in the column today that he's got nothing. Like, is he going to defend the open border policy? The 100,000 kids, 150,000 minimum that died because of the fentanyl that came over the border? Is he going to defend the lies about Joe Biden's mental competence? All of which he defended, by the way. Is he going to defend Title IX being used for women and boys and young men in girls' locker rooms? Is he going to defend that? Is he going to defend the wild deficit spending which brought us staggering inflation? Is he going to defend the Green New Deal initiatives that caused our energy prices to double and in some cases triple? What are we going to defend here? But see, he'll defend anything that's left-wing lunatic Democrat. And that's why the Scranton Times is a failing newspaper in an accelerated fashion, by the way, because they don't even control lunatics like Chris Kelly, who is dishonoring a dead person, a great person, by the way, Charlie Kirk. So, again, it's all trolls, by the way. Who thinks, seriously, that this Lilliputian, who I could have written the column about me today, I could have written, he went to jail and he's a corrupt and he's a bad. It's so childish. The discussions on email with him, so childish you can't even make it up. And how does he earn the right to come in the studio for some sort of open-ended debate about opinions which he expresses constantly, at least once out of his 2 columns? So, and by the way, I was in jail cells. The one time I was in the hole for about a month with 2 bloods. And I would rather do that again than be in the same room with Chris Kelly. He's odious. And by the way, he's not a serious person. I read his columns. There's no segue. It doesn't go from logic to this. It's just emotional, childish, left-wing regurgitation. What is he going to argue intelligently? And by the way, I think about the audience. That's who my duty is to. What could he conceivably bring to the table? I don't know. That's what I told him when I emailed him. I said, I'll have to think about it. I've got to determine if there's value there. And I mean, you see the childish response in the paper today, and not many of you are going to see it, but fine. And it's like, this child, I'm going to put a mental patient on the air. I have a responsibility. If his editors don't want to assume that, I have a responsibility. Like, what is he going to say that we don't already know? Really, it's a formula. It's the left-wing lunatic formula. It's the playbook. It's what the mayor follows. Mayor Cognetti follows that. All of their acolytes follow it. Trump bad. Bob prison. It's not serious. We put, for the most part, and by the way, I think our callers are just as serious. We put serious, real people on the program. Silly, shallow, non-serious people, and he just proved he's no deeper than the puddle in front of my house today. Like, how many ways can you say corrupt politician and blah, blah? And by the way, what does that have to do with it? Absolutely nothing. What does that have to do with my opinion that he's a mental patient and a left-wing lunatic? What does that have to do with it? Seriously. Defend your positions. And again, I'm not saying you can't come on the air. He can come on the air literally anytime he wants. We will try to rush to take his phone call. I'll schedule a phone interview. But I mean, I do Bo Dietl on the phone. I did the Speaker of the House on the phone. I did Pat Boone on the phone. But Chris Kelly deserves to be in the studio and to befoul my air with his insanity. I just, I mean, and I'm telling you that in the emails to me, it was so child. Oh, this to your tens of listeners. What does that mean? I've never listened to your show. Okay. I mean, I'm going to respond like a child to a child. You just can't, guys. You trust this program for integrity, and I told him. I said, you write for a spitty little newspaper. I use the real word. A spitty little newspaper, a spitty little column. And you want to be elevated by this show where we talk intelligently about history, about current events, about policy, where we actually think, where we don't deal in emotions, we deal in fact, truth, and reality, where self-awareness is our watchword? Please. So, Chris Kelly, you're invited to debate or whatever you want to call it. Feel free to call in. You're more than welcome. We'll take a break. We'll be back. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. Now, there's a warm, comfortable sweater. Great stuff, man. Murph says it. The Platters, this date, 1958, recorded their hit Smoke Gets in Your Eyes in Paris, France, of all places. Oh, what a great song. Let's hear the instrumental coming in. And I don't know anything about music, but that's good. And, of course, before that, in our history, the USS Enterprise, first nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, launched at Newport News, Virginia. And, of course, sadly, most of us know the USS Enterprise as the starship on Star Trek. Although I've told you, the original Star Trek series, Godfather 1 and 2, and The Twilight Zone tell you everything you possibly need to know about the human condition. They do. That gives you all your answers. Hey, let's go to Ed from Berwick on Jimmy Kimmel. Ed, how are you?
Good morning, Mr. Cordaro, LTS.
LTS back at you.
I'm a longtime veteran and a Dan Flood Democrat. Remember him?
I always tell the story about Dan Flood. I was on Capitol Hill when he was still in office, and somebody was taking me through they have these tunnels with where you could take a little shuttle train or you can walk alongside. Yes. And he gets out of one of these shuttles, and he's got a cape on, and he's walking towards me. And I was overwhelmed. Nobody dressed like him, and I'm going. He looked like a magician. And I said, Congressman Flood, my name's Bob Cordaro. I'm from Dunmore, PA, and blah, blah, blah. And he was gracious and very nice, but what a character.
Yes, he wanted the only politician I ever heard of that went down in the miner's cage into the deep coal mines. Fearless.
Yeah.
You don't see that kind anymore.
Oh, he was
a little comment about Jimmy Kimmel and his free speech.
Yeah.
For your liberal listeners, I have an answer for him. 3 answers. Don Imus.
Yeah.
Roseanne Barr. Dr. Laura. Everyone saw their careers finished overnight because they didn't agree with the liberal political and social issues.
Yep.
Especially Don Imus.
My man Don made a comeback. I go way back with Don Imus, or went way back, I should say.
Okay, well,
but you're right. He got canceled that day.
Yes, and what did he say? He said the Rutgers basketball team, the female team, was full of nappy-headed, tattooed hoes.
Well, you know what's funny? He didn't actually say it, but Bernard McGurk said it, and he laughed about it.
Okay.
He didn't actually even say it.
All right. Well, he didn't protest.
Correct.
All right.
That's correct.
But everything they said was true. They were tattooed. They were nappy-headed, and many of them had illegitimate children. And when you and I were in school and some girl got knocked up, what did they say about her? Yeah. So it was not a joke. It was truth. And that's all I have. I tell my fellow veterans, take the hill, keep on plugging, goodbye.
You got it, Ed. Thanks, man. That's funny. Let's go to Frank from North Scranton. How are you, Frank?
Hi, Bob. How are you doing today?
I'm great. Thanks.
Yeah. I don't call in very often, but thinking about Chris Kelly, he is the main, I would say, reason. He and the 3 or 4 same people that used to write into the letters of the editor, and I just got so tired of the same stuff every day. So I threw that paper away a long time ago.
It's a bad, terrible paper. I have to read it, but, you know.
Yeah, $3. $3 for that paper.
I didn't know that. Oh, my gosh. No wonder we only get one set of papers here.
Can you imagine?
Oh, Lord.
That's unreal. I looked at it the other day, and when I went into Garrity's, I said, $3 for this little piece of paper that doesn't have anything at all of interest in there for me.
Frank, anyway, you and I have been around a while. Didn't I thought that there was hope for the paper when the line had sold it. The problem is, even though they got rid of people like Pat McKenna, they kept people who are obviously mentally imbalanced. And I'm like, the paper got worse.
Bob, when I was still driving for overnight transportation, I had a paper out in the morning. 3 o'clock every morning, I would deliver the Times. And I did that for 10 years until 9/11, and then I was activated by the National Guard. And right after 9/11, I went over to Europe. And
thank you for that.
I had to give up the paper. So I gave it to a young lady that had a smaller route, which bumped up against I did the whole Scranton plot. But I had good customers. I gave them good service, and they took care of me. I always made a lot of money on Christmas. They always put cards out because I put a card out for every one of them. They would put a card out for me, and it was always a generous little donation in there. Some bigger than others, but they appreciated the fact that I took care of them. I would go, I would get their paper delivered before 5 every morning because some of them had to get up for work at that time, and I never allowed the paper to get wet or get it blown away. I would somehow secure it on the porch where it wasn't going to get wet or it wasn't going to blow away if it was very windy. And they appreciated that. They really did. Because I did my job like, I did it like the way I would like my paper boy to do it. You know what I mean? But also, the bottle or the water that you're feeding your dog. I feed my dog bottled water. I do not.
Yeah,
I gave up drinking.
Somebody suggests that because I just told Cutie we need a major league filter on this water. And I mean, by the way, why should we have to? I'm paying in excess of $200 every month for their service. Why should I have to pay more money to clean up their water, or which we already do? We use bottled water. Why do I have to use bottled water? It should be perfect at this. It should be pristine at that price.
Yeah, I don't know. I like I said, I gave up drinking Scranton water like 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I just don't. I have a filter on my refrigerator, and I also buy when I go to Sam's Club. I buy like a 40-pack of bottled water for myself and my wife. And
well, Frank, here we'll do it this way because I do have to take to this break now. But if the water becomes better, I'll let you know. Otherwise, keep doing what you're doing. All right.
Roger that.
Thank you, Frank.
Kimmel must have something against one of those people from.
Well, his apology started off with a lie. Oh, I never intended to blame any group. That's exactly what you did. This is what the lefties do. They lie. That's all they have. The truth is their enemy.
Yeah, I used to listen. I used to watch him, but I mean, I gave it up.
He was funny at one time. He's a talented guy, but he's become imbalanced like some other people we know.
Yeah,
Thank you. Frank, we got to go. Thank you, my friend. We'll take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We're going to come back. And we got Jim Serino. We had him on a couple of weeks ago talking about his father's side of the family serving this great country. And now the mother's side gets their day and their hour next. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour, this day and every day, brought to you by our man, John Basiliga, the true patriot. And it's Wednesday, so we got to start thinking weekend. And that means Basiliga Hospitality. The Old Brook Inn, Springbrook Township, the Far Street Tavern, Trips Park section of West Scranton, the Queen City Tavern, downtown Oliphant. You want to see a movie? Scranton Art House, downtown Scranton. Favorite food and beverage in your comfortable movie chair. The Terra 519, the downtown Scranton Stegmeyer Mansion, downtown Wilkes-Barre. The finest dining anywhere, and I mean anywhere. And Sergei's the nightclub, tomorrow night it'll be hopping through the whole weekend. Our veterans this hour, Ralph Matrone. Ralph was a little older than most when he entered in the Army at around 38 years old. He served us in the Philippines. He was from Old Forge and worked odd jobs, including in the mines. I'm not sure exactly all he participated in, but he was part of General MacArthur's I shall return promise. Part of the American liberation of the Japanese from the Philippines. He was in places like Luzon and Manila where heavy fighting took place. These were the battles that eventually pushed the Japanese out of the Philippines. Ralph made it back, was successful, had 2 children, 2 sons, and operated a small hardware store in Old Forge. Jim Belzano. He was an 18, 19-year-old soldier not far removed from Old Forge High School. He served mostly in Germany. He wouldn't talk about his service, just like his brothers. He said, like most of the guys from that area, they did what they had to do to protect our freedoms. And we're very proud of that. Jim was in the infantry and was involved in very intense fighting with the German and Nazis trying to defend their homeland. A lot of house-to-house, building-to-building fighting. Snipers hidden in bombed-out buildings. Tanks hidden in forests and old buildings. Pillboxes with machine guns firing. And, of course, the dangerous minefields. Jim Balzano said he could literally hear bullets whizzing past his ears. He, too, felt very lucky to make it out alive. No smart bombs back in that day. And then finally, for our guy Jim Serino, his mother, Norma Carolyn Matrone. That was her maiden name before she became a Serino. She was a young high school student at Old Forge at the start of the war. She wanted to do her part. She got a job in a local dress factory. She was a sewer and a seamstress. And her contribution to the war effort was making different kinds of clothing for the military. T-shirts, what was requested. She volunteered at things like church bazaars that did fundraisers for departing soldiers and their families. She helped at the church and provided support to Gold Star mothers, and there were many in this area. She met James Serino, they married, and they had a happy life for 50 years until his passing. And on the phone is Jim Serino. We got to talk to him a couple weeks ago. This is the maternal side of the family, Jim. You got to be bursting with pride just thinking about these people.
Well, just listening to you explain, it just brought back a lot of memories from conversations I had with my uncle. And Jim actually was my mother's sister's son. But she was one of the older sisters, and my mother was the baby of the family, so they were very close in age. So he was drafted into the service at 18, right out of high school. And, he did his basic training, and right to Germany he went. There was coming out of Belgium or wherever. I'm not sure of everything, but had fierce fighting. I remember, like I said, he didn't talk a lot about it, but he did tell me a few things. And I can only picture it like if you saw the movie Saving Private Ryan, where you saw them shooting from building to building, and You know how they escaped is just a mess. And then by the end of the war, they were fighting like the kids, Hitler Youth, and all men. After they just, it was a sad situation there. I don't know how they maintained all that.
Now, Jim Serino, you said they didn't talk about any of this stuff except maybe in little snippets.
Yeah, right. Yeah. You'd have to ask them. You know, they would never sit around the table and say, "Hey, I was doing this and I was doing that." Never anything like that. I wish I had asked more questions. Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
To my.
It's funny you mentioned Saving Private Ryan. Most of us, our only interaction, our only thoughts on war, on the military, are from movies. And these people, your mother's people and your father and his people, they lived every movie we ever saw about World War II.
Yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, like more than we could ever imagine. You know, and my uncle, they were in the Philippines. They were getting set after that to do the invasion of Japan. Mm-hmm. You know, fortunately or unfortunately, they dropped a couple of atomic bombs, and that never came about.
Very fortunately.
Fortunate for our guys,
that little guy. And for them, they would have gone down. They would have gone down fighting to the last civilian. Millions would have been killed. Millions.
Oh, well, yeah, I don't even think. And you know how they were dug in on those island hopping campaigns? I could imagine what they would be dug in on the homeland.
And this is a resource that we've lost. Like you had it in your family, and yet, they didn't give you the who, what, where, when, and why of their experiences. And that was part of that generation. They didn't think you needed to know. They didn't want to bring you the horrors they'd seen. They didn't want to be reminded in many cases of what they'd seen.
Absolutely, because that stayed with them their whole lives. Yeah. I mean, they suffered in silence more or less, but still did their work and their jobs and raised their families. Unfortunately, they're all gone now, but.
We
don't forget. So the best we can do, we put those tributes up. The hero banners we have in the local towns.
I love those.
Yeah, they're great. So
well, Jim Serino, thank you very much, and thank you for bringing attention not only to your father and his side of the family, and the brothers who served this country so well, but now your mother's side of the family, including your mother Norma. Ralph Matrone, Jim Balzano, I appreciate it so much, and thank you for calling in.
I appreciate you having me on, Bob. Thank you very much.
Okay, my friend. Hope to see you soon.
Okay, me too.
All right. Jim Serino calling about our veterans this hour. Ralph Matrone, Jim Balzano, and their sister, Norma Matrone, who she married Jim Serino, and the circle closed, and they were all part of it, man. Families like that made this country. And that's our Veterans Tribute this hour. Brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality. Storm Tracker 16 forecast. From meteorologist Joe Snedeker, today cloudy and muggy with a chance of late day showers and thunderstorms, high 75. Tonight, cloudy skies, low 62. Thursday, cloudy with showers and thunderstorms, 75. Friday, morning sun, then increasing clouds in the afternoon with the chance of a shower, 75. The Association. They moved up to number 1 this date, 1966, with their hit Cherish. Bob Cordaro back with you on the program. And, of course, Patty Hearst. You know, it's funny. These stories pre-internet are sort of the same as they are now, except you're not constantly bombarded with them. But the Patty Hearst thing was a big deal. Just for those of you younger and not weren't aware of the story, she was a newspaper heiress who was kidnapped by the Symbionese Liberation Army, sickos like we have today that attacked an ICE facility in Dallas. Sickos like the guy who killed Charlie Kirk. We've always had them. And although back then it seemed like they were on the right mostly, although the Symbionese Liberation Army was clearly left-wing sickos. But she then showed up after the kidnapping, months after the kidnapping. She showed up with a rifle at a bank robbery committed by the Symbionese Liberation Army. And that's what she was sentenced for. The postscript, though, she was released 22 months later after receiving clemency from President Jimmy Carter. Probably a good thing. Hey, let's go to Donald from Pittston to wrap up the hour. Hi, Donald.
Yeah, this fake shutdown coming up with what they want the Democrats' health care subsidies. This I read online. This is facts. They want to bring back they're doing it because of the free health care for illegal immigrants.
Yep. And
they want they insist on the transgender operations on innocent children. So they might get their wish because Trump will take this government, like Fetterman said, like he did with Koch in the ice skating ring. He could take it and do it with 25%, him and Vivek Ramaswamy. And they'll pay the military and the Social Security veterans and SNAP. And because they're Democratic based, they're all federal workers. So Fetterman said, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. Don't shut it down. But they insist. So you're going to get your wish, Rob. You're going to get the limited government that you want, 25%, and it might be a good thing. It might be more efficient.
I got to tell you, I've not noticed, and I have sympathy for people who are, actually even those employed by the federal government. I have sympathy for them, but this is part of the deal, that these shutdowns, and they've got a lunatic Democrat Party who wants what they want, like spoiled little children. They want what they want when they want it, and they don't care what the deficit is. They don't care what the national debt is, but they're going to get their way, and they're going to stomp their feet and close their eyes until they do.
Yeah. Fetterman says manufactured is just ridiculous. They got to give them due credit. It is. It's stupid. Why would you do that? It makes no sense. For this nonsense, this garbage they're proposing.
And a continuing resolution, which we'll get to eventually, the continuing resolution will be exactly what we're spending now. So that seems the place to negotiate from instead of shutting the government down.
I'd love if he just did it with 25%. So the savings will give everybody like a $1,200 stimulus check, and then he wins in a landslide the midterms because they deserve that.
And watch what the government bureaucrats do. They'll shut down parks that people want to go to. They'll try to shut down things that people do want to use as spite. You'll see how it works. But I don't care. Shut the government down for the rest of the year. Shut it down for a couple.
Right. He's getting his primary by AOC Schumer. So he'll say, my better angel said not to shut the government down, but I listened to you. You're inexperienced. You're not ready for prime time. I would never shut it down. That's going to be part of his logo when he gets his primary.
He did it last year, which actually surprised me pleasantly.
Yeah.
And but he got all kinds of hell from the left. He got all kinds of hell from the left.
I just hope they don't shut it down because it's not worth it. I mean, it's just for the garbage they want. They're just doing it deliberately.
Yep.
Those things are gone. Forget about operating on kids and these illegals with free health care for everybody. This is the socialist agenda they want to bring back.
That is their religion. That is their religion. Government is their God. Thank you, my friend. It's time for the news because I look at my Picardo Jewelers watch. It tells me it's 11:01:20. We'll be back after the news. Great good morning, everyone. My Cordaro Jewelers watch tells me it's 11:09 and change here in the great Northeast this beautiful Wednesday, September 24, 2025. This is the Bob Cordaro Show. I am he, and it's a big day to fight for America, defend our values, and with the help of our man, John Basiliga, to honor the brave who have made us and kept us free. People like Eugene Tallarico of Old Forge, Ralph Matrone, Jim Balzano, Norma Matrone, who became a Sereno, and Sandy Scalzo, the veterans we've lost but honor today. So with history, our great founding fathers, and the incomparable Constitution of the United States of America as our guides, let us continue today's battle. Gaveling back to order after a brief news break, this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, promising you that our commitment to common sense will provide a sanctuary of sanity for all of you. Where did the time go? Two great veterans tributes. Somebody texted in, well, it's not somebody. It's our friend Rich the Courier. He says, somebody's driving around with big LED screens in Kingston bashing Rob Bresnahan. I wonder who's paying for that. These left-wing lunatics. It's a sickness. It's a mental illness. And now 3 people are dead reportedly. We're going to find out. 2 of them were illegal aliens who were being detained down in Dallas. Another sick left-winger. So, I mean, should I worry about a Lilliputian like Chris Kelly taking a day out of his column to go after me for calling him out for being a left-wing sicko and for being deranged? It doesn't even rate. Well, anyway, regarding the government shutdown, timely call in our Congressman, Rob Bresnahan. Rob, how are you?
Doing great. You know, I was listening to your show here this morning, and I just could not resist the urge to call in and render some opinions this morning.
Please. Render away.
Well, I thought was really interesting, and, you know, the last caller was making some references to shutting down the government. And you know what, like, what we're talking about here, I mean, we passed it through the House. We did what we were supposed to do. And this is a 7-week, clean, very clean, continuing resolution.
And when you say clean, Rob Bresnahan, you mean that it doesn't have any contingencies. It doesn't have any policy changes. It's just a continuation of the spending.
Bob, even better, it's a continuation of Biden presidency spending. I mean, these are the same continuing resolutions that all of the Democrats voted for the last time, or most thereof. And, you know, what they're trying to couple to this continuing resolution would increase the cost to the American people by nearly $1.5 trillion. Yeah. And listen, I know a lot of conversations are going around the Affordable Care Act, the enhanced premium credits, which I agree. We need to find a way to address those. And I'm actually a co-sponsor, an original co-sponsor on Representative Jen Kagan's bill, and figuring out different ways to start those conversations. But this is not the place or the time to shut down and hold hostage the American government.
A government shutdown. Our military still gets paid. Revenue still comes into the government. Certain aspects, and usually the government chooses, meaning government bureaucrats, they choose what would be most noticeable so that they get attention. But I mean, you can't say this, but I really don't care if they shut the government down.
Well, all I know is I signed a letter to the GAO yesterday that I would not accept any compensation while the government is shut down. And you know what? When I ran for Congress.
And it's not your fault, but you're still taking responsibility. And the House has passed. This is important. The House has passed a continuing resolution.
Exactly. We did what we were supposed to do. And actually, a Democrat from Maine actually voted to keep the government open and passed the CR.
Wow.
And again, this is for 7 weeks. I mean, this isn't a 1-year CR. And this is for 7 weeks. This is until the middle to the end of November, just so we could try to restore some regular order to the appropriations process, so we can actually have accountability and pragmatic spending to what happens every single day in the United States of America. But, I mean, these are the people. I mean, you have Jasmine Crockett. Just because someone has committed a crime, it doesn't make them a criminal. That's a direct quote from the radical left.
We played it. I said their thought leaders are so blank. It's frightening. We're wondering, how did these people get to the U.S. Congress? You've got to be scratching your heads half the time.
Certainly it's frustrating, but again, it's how does a government was designed to work. And I'm on the No Labels, the problem solvers, and we interject. There's 24 Democrats and 24 Republicans, pragmatic for the most part, that, try to move the ball forward. And, and they just fight the president every step of the way. I mean, they fought us on restoring law and order. The radical left fought us on keeping men out of women's sports. They fought us on securing the border. They fought us on delivering the largest tax cut in U.S. history. They fought us on doubling the child tax credit. They fought us on investing in rural health care. And every single thing is just messaging straight out of Washington, D.C. I heard you mention the billboard truck that's running around Kingston today. What a day. I called in to the first day when this all started to happen. I don't make my own investments. My financial advisors make all of the investments. I provide zero input. If you look at all of my PTR, which, let me remind you, every single thing has been to the letter of the law. We don't make our own investments. We don't direct our financial advisors to make their own investments. But when you have nothing else, you have to attack people personally. And when when you see what happens this morning, which is just a total travesty, I haven't seen any more information unfold as to what's happening at that ICE facility. But it's just tragic. I mean, we the violence, the rhetoric. I mean, we faced death threats at our own wedding. I mean, it was that brutal.
Yeah. Rob Bresnahan's our guest, our congressman. Rob, I regularly do a reporting, and we come in with the teletype sound and all that, about the millions of people who have died since the big mediocre bill was passed. I mean, millions have died. I don't even know if there's anybody left in the country, according to Hakeem Jeffries. I think everybody's dead.
Well, the rapture, yesterday and today here.
Right.
That was sarcastic, because I'm sure D-Trip will clip that up and try to make me sound like a raging lunatic. But and the reality is nothing takes place in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania with the step down in the provider tax or the state-directed payments. And you know what? Actually, Dr. Oz was on a radio show, the CMS administrator, just yesterday in Philadelphia, talking about how instrumental we were to make sure northeastern Pennsylvania was included in the rural transformation fund rollout to make sure that our hospitals are taken care of and our healthcare systems have the proper investments. I mean, this is $50 billion. It would be political malpractice for our legislators in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to not capitalize on this. And I'll tell you, Dr. Oz had a conversation with the governor. He said it went very well, that we have been working with the governor's team to make sure that when that time comes, that there is a submission, that we dot our I's and cross our T's to make sure that we are getting the best bang for our buck in northeastern Pennsylvania.
Well, Rob Bresnahan, your opponent came on a different show on this station, and she said that she spoke with people who had disabled children who told her about their suffering from the cuts in the big mediocre bill. And I pointed out that she was lying because it didn't even go into effect yet.
Was that while she was advocating as the mayor of Scranton while running for re-election as the mayor of Scranton, or is that her on her new increased taxpayer-funded job as a member of Congress? I'm not really sure where the incoming is coming from on litigating what argument.
These are truly frightening people. Well, Congressman Bresnahan, you keep in touch with us. I've told you could call in anytime something piques your interest, or if they lie about you, which is pretty much every day. But
fun fact, Bob, I am the #1 spend by Democrats in the entire United States. for offensive messaging. They have spent over $2.5 million against us. I mean, this started on day 13 when I got blamed for RFK's Senate nomination.
Well, Rob, the other thing that happened is it's funny. No matter how much they pay the protesters, they only got 10 of them to your office last week.
Massive crowds, Bob. Massive turnout.
Oh, Lord, they're even running out of paid protesters. Rob, always a pleasure. Thank you. Keep working for us. We love you, and Northeast Pennsylvania is proud to have you as our congressman.
Thanks for letting me jump in this morning. Have a great day.
Anytime. Rob Bresnahan, our congressman. Let's take a break. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. We'll be back a little bit from our sponsors, who we love, a little bit of history, a little bit of music, and then you at 570-883-0098. The Hollies, they moved up to number 5 with their hit Bus Stop. This date, 1966, says our man Murph. And, of course, nearly 30 years ago this date, 1996, United Nations Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. I mean, but Trump called it out yesterday at the UN. He said, you guys stink. You don't do anything. There's tons of potential, but you stink. You're awful. You're a waste of money because your agenda gets in the way of actually doing any good. Pointing out that the UN was giving money and support to illegal immigrants into this country. Can it be any more insane? By the way, I'm so happy Rob Bresnan called in. It's crazy stuff. And these are crazy people. They are. A bunch of you would text in, some people disturbed, some people just commenting about this autism announcement, which took place a couple days ago. Now, here's what it consisted of. And Trump speaks all over the place. He steps on his own message. I get that. But it recommended no Tylenol for babies when they are given vaccines. It says the MMR should be given as 3 separate shots, not 1. Number 3, Tylenol should not be used in pregnancy except for an emergency. Now, here's from the makers of Tylenol. We actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. This is from Tylenol. Thanks to our guy John sending this stuff in. Tylenol said don't do it. But if Donald Trump says it, it's awful. People are going to die again. It's crazy. Now, also, on the autism announcement, we have to remove aluminum from vaccines. That's crazy. It says spread shots out over 4 to 5 visits. Next, hepatitis B vaccine only recommended for ages 12 and up. So I'm not getting it. I didn't follow the announcement closely, but they're doing something. And I'm going to tell you why they're doing something. This is important. And we've gone through these stats before, and we'll go through them again and again because of the liars. Like a Chris Kelly, who, by the way, the only reason I bring him up, he's the exemplar of all that is wrong with the left. The lying, they make it up. Now, here's what's changed in the last 30 years. ADHD, the increase since 1990, 819%. Alzheimer's disease, up 299%. Autism has increased in the last 30 years, 2,000.94%. Bipolar disease in youth, 10,833%. Celiac disease, minimal. I apologize. Celiac disease, 1,111% increase since 1990. Chronic fatigue syndrome, 11,000.27% increase. Depression, 280% increase. Diabetes, 305% increase. Fibromyalgia, 7,272% increase. Hypothyroidism, 702% increase. Lupus, 787% increase. Osteoarthritis, 449% increase. Sleep apnea, 430% increase. Now, here's the even more insane part of the left and the Trump haters. Those facts are so damning to our food supply, what they're spraying in our skies, And what we're ingesting in terms of medicines and vaccines. That tells you everything you need to know what changed in the last 30 years. It's remarkable. They're trying to do something about it. And so the people who make money off of all this stuff and the people whose egos are tied into the status quo, they attack Kennedy, Trump et al. For trying to do something about an insane situation, the sickest country on earth. It's really remarkable. Our own governor, he's taken over $1.2 million in pharmaceutical and healthcare companies. What's his incentive? What's his incentive to do the right thing? It is a racket. It's unbelievable. And they're trying to do something and they're getting killed for it. And by the way, nobody's stopping you from taking Tylenol if you want to do it against manufacturer's representative. The manufacturer says don't do it when you're pregnant. But Donald Trump says don't do it and everybody goes insane. Well, what are we doing here? Yeah, so I'm gonna have a lunatic on the show, bring him into the studio for God knows what reason. He's welcome on the show anytime, but I'm gonna bring him in the studio to be insane. I don't get it. I really don't get it. All right, we got to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We'll do so. We'll come back with our Veterans Tribute. And it is to Sanford Scalzo. And his brother, Tony Scalzo, is on the phone to talk to us about all of that. It's the Bob Cordaro Show. We'll be back. Our Veterans Tribute this hour and every hour. This day and every day brought to you by our man, John Basiliga, and his great family of companies, including Basiliga Hospitality. You want to talk about three of the greatest bar restaurants you'll ever go to? The Old Brook Inn, 307 Springbrook Township. The Far Street Tavern on Far Street, Trips Park section of West Scranton. Queen City Tavern, Main Drag, Oliphant. Fine dining, you say? Try a Terra 519. Modern setting for an incredible meal and an incredible experience. I was there Saturday. Loved it. The Stegmeyer Mansion. Go back to days of yore. I tell people it's like going to a miniature Newport mansion and being able to eat there with tremendous food. The Stegmeyer Mansion, Basiliga Hospitality. Well, Sanford Sandy Scalzo. We lost him May of this year. He was 84 by his own request. He did not want an obituary, so we would have missed him. He was a 4-year veteran of the U.S. Air Force. He served us in the Strategic Air Command, achieving the rank of Airman First Class. Member of the elite Strategic Air Command Station in Columbus, Mississippi, involved in the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. 24-hour alert for the extent of the crisis. He was a 50-year member of the Carpenters Union, served as secretary, president of the Keystone District Council, and very instrumental in negotiating a better way of life for the great carpenters in his district. He was the co-owner of Interco Construction for 20 years. He's survived by his wife for 60 years, the former Antoinette Syracuse of Sawyersville. Also survived by their children, Anthony and Kristen. 4 grandchildren. Tragically lost a grandchild at birth. But he's also survived by 1 great-grandchild and his brother, Anthony Skitch Scalzo. He was known for his wit, dry humor, and his stubborn attitude. It was hard outside, but very mellow inside. Sanford Anthony Scalzo. And his brother Tony's on the phone with us. Tony, welcome. Thank you for providing this information and being willing to talk about Sandy Scalzo.
How are you, Bob?
I'm great. I'm great now that I'm doing this in particular.
I thank you. And on behalf of the family, I wanted to thank you and the Basiligas and what you do, WILK, for what you do for our veterans.
We love them.
It's a great tribute.
And we wouldn't be here without them. We wouldn't be here without them. That's a guarantee.
And I agree with that 100%. Sandy always wanted to be in the military. He was too young, actually, to get in himself. And my father said, hey, it'll make you a man. So he signed at the dismay of my mother, who was Italian, and she didn't want to see her baby go. But anyway, he actually did it, and he went in. And he's actually celebrated his 18th birthday in boot camp down in San Antonio, Texas.
How about that?
Yeah.
Talk about becoming a man all at once, huh?
Yeah, I don't know if he really liked it. I think when he got down there, he wrote a couple letters back that I caught, and I was 7 years younger than he was. And I caught a couple of letters where he was crying and hated the food. but he did real well. He served himself and the family very well. My father was a Sicilian, and my mother was an Italian, and it was a very tough, hard. We were raised with staunch stuff, but we also had great food. So,
that I can guarantee. I guarantee
and
it, Tony.
You know about that. So anyway, he did serve in a very prestigious squadron, the 42nd 28th. Civil Engineer Squadron, SAC Air Base down in Columbus, 24/7, 365 days a year on call. And right at the end of his 4-year tour, the Cuban Missile Crisis happened. And we didn't know where he went or where he was for quite a few weeks. But then, thank God for the grace of God and JFK, we avoided World War III. And that was great. He come home and he got into the Carpenters Union, as I said, and he spent 50 years there. He had a 50-year pin, and he did 15 years as the president for the Keystone District Council. And he worked on behalf of his constituents to make a better life for carpenters, which he did do.
Yeah, how nice.
Yeah, my father told us a couple words, and we try to use them, and we actually tried to instill them in our kids and our grandkids, and I think we've done that. It's God, country, and respect, which that's what we try to do, and I'm very proud of our family and our kids.
Tony, somebody texted in, a friend of mine, Paul, he went to the University of Rochester with Tony Scalzo from Pittston, West Pittston. Is that related to you?
That's my nephew. That's his son.
There you go. Sandy's son. Wow.
No, Sandy's son is Anthony, who went to school up in Rochester with you.
Okay.
He said you were just about done when he was coming in. You were graduating.
And that's who we're talking about, Tony Scalzo. Yes.
Yes, that's right. And he's a carpenter right now, and he works for a very prominent construction company in the area.
Nice.
You
can mention them.
Quandel.
Oh, yeah.
Quandel. So, yeah.
Bud Quandel, good man.
Yeah, Bud. I know you know them. And I know you know a lot of friends that we have mutual friends. Mr. He sent me into the society up there in Scranton, Mo DeBillo.
Yep.
Those are very good friends. So, yeah.
Well,
so this
Tony,
is all great.
Tony Scalzo, I'm so pleased that you chose to honor this show with the opportunity to talk about your brother, Sandy Scalzo. True honor. And these histories, what these people did, what they endured, what they saw, what they experienced, and the things they did after they got out of the military are so amazing to me. They always are.
Well, if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't know, and I appreciate what you do so much, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Believe me, it is my honor. Thank you. Tony Scalzo, calling for our veteran this hour, Sandy Scalzo. Well, a great pleasure. Thanks again.
Thank you, Bob.
All right. What do we got, Bulldog? Weather. Storm Tracker 16 forecast from meteorologist Joe Snedeker. He says today cloudy and muggy with a chance of late day showers and thunderstorms, 75 degrees. Tonight, cloudy skies, low 62. How about that? Perfect weather. Well, then, okay, there's more. Thursday, cloudy with showers and thunderstorms, 75. Friday morning, sun, then increasing clouds in the afternoon with a chance of a shower, 75 degrees. Not bad. Hey, as we go to continue this hour, one of the things near and dear to my heart, and many of you disagree on my position on the issue, but the thing you can't disagree is the great people at Pennsylvanians for Human Life. And their breakfast is coming up, and Cindy Cox is on the phone to talk about that. How are you, Cindy?
Good morning, Bob. I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
So happy to be here. Thanks for having me on again to talk about our breakfast. We're super excited for this one.
It's always a beautiful affair. Give us the details on this one.
So we are gathering again for the 41st annual prayer breakfast. It's happening Saturday, October 25th at Ciarelli's. Doors are open at 8 a.m. because we have tons of great basket raffles and some silent auction items. The program starts at 9 a.m. and tickets are only $25, but any student from K through college are free, because we've got some wonderful people in our community who are supporting us with wanting to have kids hear our message, and they are paying for these students. We're actually looking for some sponsors to cover their cost, and we've got quite a few already. So we're inviting kids, students to come for free so they could hear our speaker.
And my friend Steve Tallarico is on your board now. I got some information from him. But this is such a beautiful breakfast, because it isn't anti-anybody. It's
Exactly.
it's truly pro-life. That's why I absolutely love it.
Well, our mission is to protect and defend life from conception to natural death. So really, we kind of focus on 5 pillars. A lot of people think we are just pro-life, and believe me, that is the heart of what we do for the unborn. But we also have 4 other pillars, which we're going to be talking about at the breakfast, and they're post-birth support. So that's helping the families, especially the moms who decide prayerfully to keep their babies. We want to put them in touch with agencies like Providence Pregnancy Center to help them along the way, providing them with diapers and formula and all kinds of assistance. We work with the disabled, both intellectually and physically disabled, to put them in touch with certain agencies that could help them, working with older adults, people who need assistance, people in nursing homes, and also end-of-life issues with the critically ill. In fact, our speaker at the breakfast is Bobby Schindler. I don't know if that name is ringing a bell to you, but he's the president of the Terry Schiavi Life and Hope Network.
Nice.
We're bringing him up from Florida.
All right, so Cindy, give us date, time, and place for this event again, and we'll talk again in coming weeks.
For sure. Saturday, October 25th. Doors open at 8 a.m. at Fiorelli's. If anybody wants information or wants to buy tickets, they can either call our office at 570-343-5099, or they can go to our website, which is humanlifepa.org. That's all one word, humanlifepa.org.
Nice. Or get in contact with somebody that's on the group.
Yes.
Great stuff, Cindy Cox. We look forward to speaking to you again on this great October 25th event.
Thank you. Have a great day. God bless.
You too. He has. Thank you. All right. We're going to take a break. Bob Cordaro, WILK. We've got a couple phone calls I want to get to. But let's hear from our great sponsors. First, we've got the Bloomberg Minute we want to sneak in here. And as I look at my Bacardo's watch, it's telling me it's 11:47. My gosh, it's almost over here. We'll be back. The Four Tops. Murph tells us this date, 1966. They moved into the top 10 charts at number 10 with that great hit. Reach out, I'll be there. Mother Teresa for September 24th. Many people who have many possessions, who have many goods and riches, are obsessed with them. They think that the only thing that counts is possessing wealth. That is why it is so difficult for them to walk each moment of each day with God. Too many of their moments are spent preoccupied with money and things. And it's what the church teaches. Material possessions are great. Do not let them become your obsession. Thank you, St. Teresa. And it's important. It's important stuff. Hey, but I can't get into the trolls texting in. But I noticed the headline. I hadn't seen it before. Me and Bob Cordaro's big mouth. And then somebody else said big mouth blowhard Cordaro. Now, my show is based on me speaking. Does that make me a big mouth? It's a crazy. These are crazy people. These are deranged people. These are people who literally they need our compassion. They need our compassion. They truly do. Mike from Bloomsburg, how are you, friend? We only got about a minute because we're rushing, but thanks for your patience. Thank you for your patience.
You're welcome. Hey, I had the best of three worlds, Bob. German father, Sicilian mother, and I'm 70 years old, and I grew up in America. Okay? I don't believe... Yeah,
that's pretty good.
It's not the America I grew up anymore. Right now, the world is, in my mind, is in rapid decline. Threats everywhere, and the threats are here in America.
Yep.
America's in decline, and in my opinion, the only country that can lead this world out of the decline is the United States. And if we're divided, we're just giving in to the people that want to destroy this country and the world and take total control. We got to stick together. We got to do the right thing and understand what this is all about. It's a fight for our survival.
And, Mike, we're going to have to carry a lot of left-wing lunatics because we love them. We're going to have to carry them on our backs, kicking and screaming. I mean, I said just a simple announcement like don't take Tylenol when you're pregnant, which is the recommendation of the manufacturer, and they go wild. You don't even know how to deal with them.
It's insanity. It's insanity, Bob.
Yep.
That's what it is.
It truly
Everything is Trump's fault. Everything that's wrong with the world is Trump's fault.
Yep.
And if we just get rid of him, it'll be all better. Well, that's wrong. It ain't going to happen.
I know. Hey, thank you, Michael. We appreciate it
You're
always.
welcome. Take care.
This date, 1973, Chicago released their hit, Just You and Me. Love the song. And we're wrapping up with that. But I want to mention our veterans one more time. Brought to you by John Basiliga and Basiliga Hospitality today. Eugene Tallarico, Old Forge, Ralph Matrone, Jim Balzano, and their sister, Norma Matrone, who we paid tribute to at 10:35 today. 11:35, Sandy Scalzo, West Pittston. These are such good people. And believe me, all we have to do is go and vote. Nobody's asking us to do anything hard. Nobody's asking us to go over the hill. They're asking us to ignore the lunatics, listen closely to what they have to say, remember the lies they told you over and over and over again about everything, and make wise choices when you go to vote. 3 Supreme Court disgraces that are on the ballot this fall. Wecht, Donahue, Doherty. Vote no. Vote no. Let's take the Pennsylvania Supreme Court back from a political lunatic left body. Yeah. Important stuff, guys. Now, Sue Henry show's next. Rob O'Donnell shows after that as Chicago takes us out. God willing, I'll be back with you tomorrow morning. Looking forward to it, as I always do. Have a great afternoon, a great evening, and we hope we'll see you then. But for now, We've got to gavel to a close this meeting of the Club for Common Sense, telling you the meeting's adjourned.